Hanson, three lovely boys from Oklahoma who wrote their own songs, played their own instruments, and rocked everyone's world in 1997 with Bop.
Three little blonde Muppets from the middle of America that just burst onto the scene with a song that is more infectious than the bird flu.
You try to act like you didn't buy that record. Shut the up. You love that record.
You can try to resist the effervescent charm of Hanson, but why? I remember seeing Hanson for the first time, and I thought, oh, how sweet. And all of a sudden, every girl was obsessed with them.
They're so hot, Hanson, and I was here since 7 a.m. this morning.
The most we'd ever played for was maybe almost 1,000 people, you know, and then there's 20,000 people to see us. And we're like, what is the deal?
After the Bop craze, Hanson continued to make their own music and continued to grow up at an alarming rate. Today, all three are married, and both Taylor and Isaac have baby Hansons of their own.
Even little Zachy. Zachy's married. That does make me feel very old. All the Hanson boys are married and have kids, and I made some noodles last night. Where's my life going?
In 2007, the group released their fourth album and hit the road to promote it. The tour was interrupted when Isaac had emergency heart surgery. A few days later, he was back on stage with his brothers, belting out their signature tune.
I think people should start using that as some sort of phrase, kind of like when something cool happens, they're just like, bop, yeah. I mean, it should be in the dictionary, it's just by Hanson. We're going after that.
Fight for Your Right put them on the map, and the Paul's Boutique record made them critical darlings. But 1994's Sabotage cemented the Beastie Boys legend.
In 1994, the Beastie Boys were pretty much the coolest group around, and when Sabotage came out, we were like, oh my God, this album's gonna be incredible.
That combined this awesome, like, hard funk beat with this really goofy sensibility.
There's this feedback with the guitar that just sort of stops, and the feedback fades, and then it comes back in again. I just always felt that was really cool.
One of the things that attracted me to the song was the video. I love the video.
You got MCA, the King Adrock, and Mike D running around in mustaches with guns, a la Starsky and Hutch.
It was a really great looking video, and there haven't been too many like it since.
Now hip-hop royalty and middle-aged family men, Mike D, Adrock, and MCA continued to tour and released an all-instrumental album, The Mix-Up, in 2007. Not bad for three punks from New York.
They've kind of become these, like, elder statesmen of hip-hop and political responsibility.
When you look back in history, as we are now on the Beastie Boys, you realize they were and are a fantastic band.
That's like the national anthem of headbangers.
Witness its metal grandeur, the riff that catapulted Metallica to mainstream success and metal godhood. The punishing 1991 hit Enter Sandman.
The way Enter Sandman starts, it's just kind of like it just builds and builds and builds. It's bigger.
Good riff.
You just knew there was trouble coming.
I remember the cool thing about a video, there was all kinds of strobe in it.
I thought it was just very disturbing and nightmarish.
Okay, Metallica, congratulations. You made it so I can't sleep at night. Hope you're happy.
Veteran headbangers accused Metallica of selling out with Sandman, which became a huge pop hit.
Yeah, when they told us it's #1, it was like, had an extra beer, you know?
Despite the uproar, the Black Album went on to sell 14 million copies. And the band trudged on, cutting their hair, railing against the internet, going into therapy, and occasionally scaring people.
James Hetfield was held at an airport because he had a Taliban-looking beard. It's pretty nuts. You can just see him being like, I'm not a terrorist. Why would you think I would want to blow up a plane? I never do.
Nowadays, Metallica are still in the studio and on the road, thrilling fans and crushing the souls of the unworthy.
Metallica will always be metal gods. They're like the real deal, insanity. Metal, don't with us.
Say my name. No one is around you. Say, baby, I love you.
With smooth voices, a start-stop rhythm, and more pretty ladies than you can shake a booty at, 1999 Say My Name had to be a hit.
Better say my name of the day. I will call, you would say, baby.
Every now and then a band comes along where everyone just sort of turns and goes, ooh, that's sort of the real thing, isn't it?
The song had a great sound, but more importantly than that, it offered a piece of great advice.
Basically, he's saying, say you love me in front of everybody.
The first thing that struck me about it was how many words and in such a strange rhythm the verses went in. It was so inventive.
The movements in the video are really sort of captivating.
Say my name, say my name.
Along with those fly moves came drama with a capital D. Mysteriously, Destiny's LaToya Luckett and Latavia Robertson were missing from the video.
These two women didn't realize that they had been replaced until, imagine one day they're watching TV and like, oh, I think I hear our song. And there's a video that you're not even in. Talk about getting dumped.
It was chaos. I remember we were in the middle of changing members. Finally got our other two ladies, and it worked.
Soon the group was down to a trio: Beyonce, Kelly Rowland, and Michelle Williams. The girls split amicably in September 2005 and each moved on to a solo career.
Beyonce is obviously the breakout star from Destiny's Child.
I'm very proud of Beyonce. She had so much success and will have even more success. And I'm proud of Michelle as well.
Michelle Williams doing the Aida, and then she's on The Color Purple now, and so she's now a Broadway gal. And, Kelly has her second album coming.
My new album is Kelly. It's my baby. I want everybody to know about this record.
And since the ladies remain good pals, there's always a possibility of a reunion.
Anything could happen. I'd like to leave it at that.
You voted, we counted, and the very best 90s songs are ahead. Hip-hop to the people like MC Hammer's You Can't Touch This.
Can't touch this.
With some help from a Rick James sample, the 1990 mega hit got the 90s started proper.
Can't touch this.
Can't touch this. Who doesn't know that song?
My music hits me so hard, makes me say, oh my Lord.
MC Hammer was one of those guys that I wanted to hate, but I couldn't. His performance was absolutely phenomenal, and I became a fan. I was like, okay, I surrender.
Break it down.
I just see pants every time I hear that. Can't touch this.
Oh, man, I think I might have had some of them pants. They were some pajamas, but I still wore them to the club. I was out there, can't touch this.
Stop. Hammer time.
My looking image was just based on suits in the 40s and 50s because the pants were loose. And because I used my entire body, I need room when I groove.
His popularity waned after You Can't Touch This, and soon Hammer time was effectively over.
In the mid-90s, he totally got overexposed. He tried to get gangster, and then went bankrupt, and now he's like a minister or something.
It's Hammer go, Hammer empty, Hammer yo, Hammer and the rest can go and play. Can't touch this.
These days, Hammer's all over the place, on records, on the links,
Hammer time!
And in church.
Amen.
Hammer's a Christian minister living in Northern California with his wife and kids.
Remember, God's love is unconditional.
And in case you're wondering, he kept the pants.
I still have pants in storage, but most of them get sent off to Hall of Fames, collectors, but I can always dig up a pair when I need them.
Stop. Hammer time.
In the 80s, they were funk rock party animals, but the 90s made the Red Hot Chili Peppers more introspective, and it came off in their downbeat ballad, Under the Bridge.
Sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner.
Suddenly it was this whole new sort of sensitive side
that I'd never heard from them before.
Lonely as I.
Great song. Anytime you confess your soul like that, man, you're gonna do all right.
Produced by rock guru Rick Rubin, the song came from Anthony Kiedis' journal entries about his heroin addiction.
I don't ever wanna feel like I did that day.
Very honest song. It almost pains me to hear the lyrics sometimes because you can actually feel the pain Anthony was in.
It's hard to believe there's nobody out there.
After a few relapses, Kiedis got off the sauce and has been drug-free since 2000. Now, as he and the rest of the Chili Peppers approach their silver anniversary, they remain as kick-ass as ever.
You could say they're at their peak now. They're performing to huge audiences. They're really tight as a band, and they're incredibly successful and still putting out records.
Straight out of Long Island with a 7-octave range and the perfect song to show it off, Mariah Carey with 1990's Vision of Love.
Treated me kind, sweet destiny.
She just put herself on the map with that song.
Her talent blew people away.
Her voice was spectacular. Everyone was saying, have you heard? Like, oh my God, you know?
I had a vision of love, and it was all that you've given to me.
She was a diva. She could hit the highest notes that only dogs could hear.
Carey scored a record contract at only 19, but it took some guts to make it happen.
She was at a party, and Tommy Mottola, who was the head of Columbia Records, got her demo tape, listened to it, and said, I'm going to make her a superstar. And like a year later, she was massive and married to Tommy Mottola.
The Mottola marriage ended after just 4 years, but Mariah's career couldn't be stopped. Before long, she was the most successful singer of the 90s.
And all of a sudden, she just started opening up. You know, things were showing a little more, and she just got a little freaky.
There was a brief misstep with Glitter and its soundtrack in 2001, but MC proved her immortality with 2005's Emancipation of Mimi. Yeah, Ms. Carey's back all right. Big time.
As long as she's singing like she can sing, she can't go wrong.
Hey, Snoop!
What up? 1, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at
The center of the hip-hop universe shifted west in 1993 when ex-NWAer Dr. Dre dropped his solo debut, featuring the laid-back single Nothing But a G-Thang.
Cause ain't nothing but a G-Thang, baby. Too loped out G, so we crazy.
When Dre came out with Nothing But a G-Thang, baby, I thought I was the gangster.
That song changed him big time.
Nothing but a G-thing, nothing but a gangster thing, nothing but a ghetto thing. It's a gangster record because the gangsters like it.
It was smooth, laid back, and it introduced us to Snoop.
I love Snoop, and he kills his rhyme on Nothing But a G-Thing.
Well, if it's good enough to get off a proper chunk, I take a small piece of some of that funky stuff.
Snoop wasn't the Doctor's only discovery. In the years since G-Thang, Dre has produced Tupac, Eminem, and 50 Cent.
Dre, I've always thought, was probably the most important, the most influential hip-hop producer.
Never been on the ride like this before.
Say what?
With a producer who can rap and control the maestro.
I think he's one of the most interesting producers, if not the most interesting producer in America. Not to mention he's incredibly cute.
Dr. Dre hasn't released an album of his own since '99, but in 2007, a beefed-up Dre announced a new record is on the way.
Detox, baby, is coming.
It's very exciting when you hear that not only is Dr. Dre working on a new album, but he's also working on his guns. And by guns, I mean muscles. I mean muscles.
So just chill till the next episode.
Want you to know.
Alanis Morissette, cute, Canadian, and very, very pissed. At least that's how she came off in 1995's groundbreaking single, You Oughta Know.
When I first heard Alanis Morissette, You Oughta Know, I was like, this is one
angry broad.
This song, I think for a good part of the male population, sent shivers down their spine.
I had just broken up with my boyfriend, and I would blare it with my windows down and sing it, and I was like, you, I don't know. You seem that.
Alanis never yes or no'd it, but rumors said You Ought to Know was about her ex, Dave Coulier, the cut it out guy from Full House. Yeah, that one.
Seriously, the song is about Uncle Joey? You on Uncle Joey in the movies? That's cuckoo, Alanis.
Hey, cut that. Come on.
Now in her early 30s, Alanis is working on a new album, but embracing the old ones too. In 2005, she released an acoustic version of Jagged Little Pill through Starbucks.
I would say she's more like mildly annoyed now. You know how you get older, suddenly, not so big of a deal.
Eloquent, angst-ridden, and flannel-clad from head to toe, Seattle's Pearl Jam was every confused kid's favorite band. And 1992's Jeremy helped make them rock deities.
At home and drawing pictures of mountaintops.
That song was just heavy, man. That was just the whole deal. I mean, come on, those guys are badass.
Jeremy was one of those songs at the beginning of the, quote, grunge movement that really sticks out. A song apparently about a boy who commits suicide in school and shocks an entire community.
That he better read about it in a newspaper article, and he based the whole song on that article.
I'm sorry that there is a reason to make this video or to write that song. You know, I'm really sorry about that. Shouldn't have happened.
Jeremy turned Pearl Jam from a Seattle secret into full-fledged rock gods, but they weren't really into it.
They started getting huge, and then they kind of became sort of like a little bit of a recluse, and then they didn't want to release music videos. They were very anti-music industry.
Pearl Jam really epitomized the anti-stardom vibe of the 90s. They were never comfortable being rock stars, but in the long run, it may have kept them together as a band.
And 7 albums later, that band's still going strong. In 2007, Pearl Jam headlined Lollapalooza, and Eddie released his first solo record, the soundtrack to Sean Penn's movie Into the Wild.
I still go see every show when they come around. You know, my hat will always be off to that band. Pearl Jam is an amazing band.
So Irish, so bald, so angry.
It's been 7 hours and 15 days.
Sinead O'Connor scared some music fans early in her career, but in 1990 she showed a captivating soft side with her cover of Prince's Nothing Compares to You.
I go out every night and sleep all day.
Nothing Compares to You, Sinead, was one of those songs that wherever you were and you heard it, you were just riveted.
I just remember being struck by Sinead in that video, you know, when that first tear wells up. All of a sudden, you're inside the song.
All the flowers that you planted, Mama.
My mother had died when I was 17. And when it gets to the song, it's these lines about all the flowers that you planted, and Mama in the backyard all died when you went away. So I was thinking of that, so that's really it.
Nothing compares.
Nothing Compares to You spent 4 weeks at #1 and made the 23-year-old singer a reluctant superstar.
And the winner for the best video of the year is Sinead O'Connor.
You could see why people love the song, but I found the whole pop star thing a bit weird. But it was just a little strange. It wasn't where I was coming from, you know.
Sinead's career took some weird turns after that. She ripped up a photo of the Pope on SNL, bumped heads with Frank Sinatra, and in 1998, an independent Catholic congregation ordained her as a priest. Through it all, she's kept up with music and in 2007 released a spiritual album called Theology.
I always quite fancied writing a book of theology, but I don't know how to write books, so I decided I'd do it with music.
Today, Sinead is a mother of 4, a proud owner of hair, and still a sucker for Nothing Compares to You.
It's a song I always love, and even now doing shows, I have to struggle not to cry, singing it even.
For a decade, they'd been every cool college kid's favorite band. Then in 1991, Losing My Religion turned REM into bona fide megastars.
Losing My Religion was the Smells Like Teen Spirit before Smells Like Teen Spirit. That was the real infiltration of underground music into the mainstream.
It sounded like nothing else that was really on the radio. It blended, you know, college rock with pop. It had lyrics that nobody really understood.
That's me in the corner.
That's me in the corner. That's me in the spotlight.
Spotlight, losing my religion.
Don't know what it means. Not a clue.
Losing My Religion is a Southern expression that basically means you're losing your
As a song, it's very peculiar. It doesn't really have a chorus. The lead instrument is a mandolin. For some reason, it really captured people.
Not a clue.
I thought that I heard you laughing. I thought that I heard you sing.
The song nabbed REM hordes of awards.
R.E.M. 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 Losing My Religion.
And turned its members into honest-to-God celebrities.
That was just a dream.
Now a trio and recent inductees into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the almost 30-year-old band is still going full speed ahead.
REM is still an amazing band, and they're still a band that continues to push their boundaries.
By 1994, Chili T-Boz and Left Eye were pretty down with promoting safe sex. But Waterfalls took TLC's message one step further.
Lonely mother gazing out of the window, staring at a sun that she just can't touch.
It's one of the best songs ever, ever.
The lyrics were very socially conscious. You know, we're talking about basically the plight of the urban African-American woman.
The music had a lot of meaning to it. The words was perfect.
Awesome song. Finally, we're getting back around to popular music having some substance with the lyrics instead of it being about booty.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to.
94 was a tough year for TLC. Lisa Left Eye Lopez was arrested for torching the house of her boyfriend, football star Andre Rison. Plus, the girls filed for bankruptcy the week Waterfalls hit #1.
Trust me, you can sell 10 million albums and be broke if you have greedy people behind you.
I seen a rainbow yesterday, but too many storms have come and gone, leaving a trace of not one guy to give and raise.
While their huge next album, Fan Mail, rescued TLC from debt, the good times didn't last. On April 25, 2002, Lisa was killed in a car crash doing missionary work in Honduras. In 2005, Chili and T-Boz starred on Are You the Girl, a reality show looking for a temporary TLC vocalist. Today, they're working separately, but the TLC love lives on for fans.
TLC forever holds a special place in my heart, and of course, Left Eye is definitely missed.
They are arguably the greatest female group of all time.
The votes are tallied.
Britney Spears. The name rings a bell.
I'm sorry, Britney who?
She was a Musketeer, right?
I've heard of Britney Spears. She's kind of popular.
How was I supposed to know?
Hey, remember when Britney was a pop star? In 1998, the Louisiana Lolita released her first single, Baby One More Time, and the world would never be the same.
1998, a young girl comes out. She's 16, and she's got pigtails,
and a little schoolgirl uniform, and like every dude on the planet from the age of 7 to like 64 just went crazy.
This is a brilliant girl who knows exactly what she's doing. She's hot. She's singing like this kind of innocent, like pop bubblegum song, but she just like, she looks like she wants it.
Ooh, she's a bad girl.
Hit Me Baby One More Time is a very catchy tune.
I thought it was a really good pop song. Then at the same time, I felt dirty for listening to it.
Highlights of Britney's career, Hit Me Baby One More Time video, the red cat suit. Anyone dancing with a snake ever has always got to be a highlight. Kissing Madonna. Then that's when things started to turn for Miss Britney Spears.
She hooked up with K-Fed. They did their show, Chaotic, and then she shaved her head, and here we are, you know, 2 stints in rehab later, and she's got 2 kids.
She's the female Elvis. Is that you can't have that much fame. You can't be that famous without it destroying you.
I really would love to see her turn her life around and, you know, for the next 40 years, just keep knocking out great hits.
I will watch her go down in flames just to see her rise again like the phoenix that we all know she is. Go, Britney, go!
Me, baby, one more time.
Oh my God, Becky, look at her butt. She looks like one of those rap guys' girlfriends.
The 90s were the golden age of the ass song, and none was more ass-tastic than Sir Mix-a-Lot's Baby Got Back.
Baby Got Back is not only one of the greatest songs of all time, but it has the best first line of a song ever written, ever.
I like big butts and I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny.
Sir Mix-a-Lot was the king of the round ass.
Yes, he is the king of booty.
Oh, baby, I wanna get whipped out and take your picture. My homeboys tried to warn me, but that butt you got makes
me so horny.
One ass. The ass that made me want to go home and do that song. I was on tour, the crowd's yelling, and she just kind of walked out to the center of the stage, and she just turned around, ass it, and she said, I'm like, oh, goddamn, I wanted to marry her right there.
So your girlfriend rolls a Honda, playing workout tapes by Fonda.
I can't think of a song that's quoted more than that song.
My anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hun.
My anaconda don't want an anaconda. Oh, anaconda.
So fellas, fellas, has your girlfriend got the butt? Hell yeah. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake that healthy butt. Baby got back.
Mix-a-Lot's Butt Love didn't just come out in song, it was all over the video, too.
Double up.
The video's spectacular because it's Sir Mix-a-Lot dancing on a giant ass.
Think about this. This is a big yellow ass, and they were going to shoot this thing from above, and I'm in the crack of the ass, and I was wearing brown. Dude, I'm like the dancing turd.
Ladies, ladies, if you want to roll my Mercedes, turn around, stick it out. Even white boys got the shout. Baby got back.
The good sir didn't have much luck recording a follow-up, so he turned to acting, producing, and performing on occasion.
Baby got back.
Lucky for the universe, he's never gotten sick of the song that made him a star.
I never get sick of doing Baby Got Back. I ain't ashamed of the song. The song made me a lot of money. The song's still making me a lot of money. You know, so, you know, what am I gonna knock it for?
After conquering the 80s, the 90s were no match for Madonna. Armed with a cone bra, a few dance moves, and a glam new tune, she kicked off the decade in style with 1990s Vogue.
Madonna is the she pimp of all time, bar none. She's just like, I'm gonna do some music. And you know what we're gonna talk about? Posing.
Look around, everywhere you turn is heartache. It's everywhere that you go.
The song, the dance, that was incredible. Yeah. I never could get that Vogue thing, though.
It was a form of basically battling between different, if you would say, gay gangs, and she was so taken with it that she decided to bring it mainstream.
The song brought back personal memories of the House of Dutray, which I was a part of, where I voted and won. That's right.
Let's be honest, gay men made Vogue popular because straight men are not going to be caught doing this at a club.
Voguing is a lot of arm dancing. You go like that and that.
You know what I'm saying?
Now closing in on 50, Madge has a nice big family, a cool British accent, an H&M clothing line, and plenty of music, movies, and kids' books on the way.
I like Madonna, man. She's all right. She can drop that 50-year-old ass in my lap any day of the week. Hell yeah, justify my love.
If I should stay. The Bodyguard didn't just make Whitney Houston a bona fide actress. It gave her her biggest single ever. And in a career like Whit's, that's saying something.
I love Whitney. She takes the cake.
And
I remember anybody who was in a relationship at that time, and if they broke up, you know, when I Will Always Love You came on the radio, it's like, my heart is breaking.
my darling, you.
Whitney's version was a far cry from the 1973 original, a countrified ballad by Tennessee Titan Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton ain't sing it like that. She took that song to a whole nother place.
That one note that she hit, she started singing it in the 90s, and she's still singing it now.
I just got goose pimples, like, thinking about that note.
Houston's had some issues since '92, including a split from husband Bobby Brown, but now she's primed for a comeback.
I recently saw a picture of her and she looked healthy, and it was just like, oh man, it's just great to see because Whitney is a legend, you know?
We're getting close. Only 3 songs remain. What's the #1 tune of the 90s? The answer is ahead.
My all-time favorite song, I must say.
Sure, they were hot, and teen girls loved them, but above all, the Backstreet Boys could sing. Case in point, 1999's I Want It That Way.
You are my fire.
I loved them. I loved the Backstreet Boys.
I remember being at the World Music Awards, and they showed the world premiere of I Want It That Way. I gotta admit, I had chills.
I love how they use their hands to gesticulate whatever it is they're singing.
They were the first people to do that, like holding their heart, always talking about their heart, and doing really sleek dance moves.
It's like the most perfect pop song in the world. Even if you hated the whole boy band thing, even if you hated pop music, even if you were annoyed by the screaming 14-year-old girls, you would still turn up the radio when that song came on.
After BSB's heyday, Brian started a family and launched a heart charity for kids. Howie judged MTV's Road to Menudo and got engaged to Backstreet's webmaster. AJ fixed his substance abuse problems and began work on a solo album. Nick starred in E's House of Carter's reality show and shed 44 pounds. And Kevin left the group, started acting, and became a dad. Despite his departure, Backstreet's still standing with a new album released in 2007.
We felt like it was important for us to continue. I think you're being reintroduced to the Backstreet Boys at a good time in our lives and even in our career.
Meanwhile, thanks in part to China and the internet, I Want It That Way will never, ever die.
To be one of the only groups left like us from the 90s, and I think we're just fortunate to have such dedicated fans.
In 1992, the biggest band in the world released what may still be their greatest single, One.
Is it getting better? Or do you feel the same?
U2's One, I mean, it might be the #1 song of the 90s.
Such an amazing song. I mean, to this day when I hear it, you just go, oh. I think it made that band epic.
One love, one life.
It's also what U2 essentially are about as a band, and they're about transcendence. I think that's a gorgeous song, really gorgeous.
One love, we get to share it. Leaves you, baby, if you don't care for it.
By 1991, it almost seemed like they had peaked a little bit, like U2 was going to be one of those bands that sort of petered out. And then Achtung Baby came out, and it was the album of the 90s. And One was like their big power ballad.
One life, but we're not the same. We get to carry each other.
One went on to be covered by everyone from Johnny Cash to Mary J. Blige, and it even inspired its own humanitarian campaign geared to wipe out world poverty.
Bono's like God.
I touched him once. I touched his arm.
These days, when Bono's not busy hobnobbing with presidents and popes, U2's still saving the world, one song at a time.
Well, U2 are the holy grail. I mean, everyone wants U2's career.
To have that many incredible songs every decade without fail makes them the best band in the world.
It's all
What song do I think will be #1 on the list? I have no clue.
I think Nookie's gonna be #1.
The #1 song of the 90s has to be Baby Got Back.
A Tupac song? Or a Biggie song?
Bop is the best song of the 90s.
Or Beck.
The greatest song of the 90s should be Rump Shaker by Rex and Effect.
An obvious one would be Smells Like Teen Spirit.
I think Smells Like Teen Spirit, it will have to be #1.
I think the #1 song of the 90s is a no-brainer. It Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana.
On April 17th, 1991, Nirvana treated their hometown fans to a raucous new song.
The song is called Smells Like Teen Spirit.
My all-time favorite song, I must say, hands down.
The Smells Like Teen Spirit, for me and people my age, was the definitive moment of music.
That song changed pop culture, just like, boop, out with the hair bands, in with Nirvana.
As a musician in Seattle, you listen to it and you're just like, what am I gonna do now?
With Teen Spirit as their calling card, Nirvana knocked the reigning king of pop off the top of the charts. Kurt Cobain was king, and Nirvana lay siege to the nation.
I turned on MTV and there we were. And I was like the Beatles. It's like Nirvana mania.
Found it hard. It's hard to find a well, whatever, never mind.
Kurt Cobain was just genuinely one of those freakish talents that only come along once in every great while. And he left the world at his zenith.
Hi, I'm Kurt Loder with an MTV News special report. The body of Nirvana leader Kurt Cobain was found in a house in Seattle on Friday morning, dead of an apparently self-inflicted shotgun blast to the head.
For kids, like my age, like we felt like we lost someone that was the most important person in our life.
I just focus on the fact that he totally changed my life. I mean, he brought real music into the charts and onto the radio.
Since Kurt's death, Dave Grohl founded Foo Fighters, while Chris Novoselic became a Washington state politician and bassist for the band Flipper.
Nirvana is going to be a band that's going to be around forever. For our era, Nirvana was the Beatles.
Of course, there's tons of songs I think personally that weren't on the list.
I was surprised that there was no Boys to Men.
Is there any Bjork on there? There should be Bjork. Yeah, I'm very surprised not to see Bjork on this list.
Some Tribe Called Quest could have been on there, too.
Where is They Might Be Giants, Istanbul, not Constantinople?
There's nothing from Pavement, the defining indie rock band of the 90s.
I want to run IQ tests by everybody that was picking these songs.
I'm saddened by the lack of acid house on your list.